Hi and welcome everybody to episode 53 of the Talk is Cheap Show, the syndicated Talk is Cheap Show. Hope you're all well, healthy, COVID free. Hope you're all staying safe. Not too long to go now before the lockdown ends, so that's a good piece of news, yeah? We've got a great show ahead of us today, but before we go any further, it is my pleasure and honour to introduce the legendary, the one and only, my co-host, analyst and good friend, Mr. Big C Kershaw in the house. What you saying, bro?
The check's in the post, that word, man. You know, that introduction, I'm loving that, bro.
The legendary Big C, man. You know what I mean? Man's making waves, man.
Yeah,
I'm seeing your shows and it's getting some really great views, some really good comments.
Yeah, man.
Everyone's loving you right now, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I feel honoured.
You feel honoured?
I feel honoured, man. Yeah. How you mean?
I'll give you,
mean, brethren?
Give you a signature after, man. No worries.
Okay, then. News and notes this week. I mean, last week we had some good news to report on the show. But in the last week, man, it's been pretty sad, hasn't it? Yeah, all around. I mean, last week we got the news first of Heavy D, influencer, good friend, larger than life personality. He's always seen him about the place with a big smile on his face. Haven't seen him in recent weeks.
No.
But yeah, man, when I got the news, I was shocked, bro.
Yeah, you let me know and I was just like, I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't
believe it. And he's no age at all as well.
43, man. 43.
Nah, terrible.
I mean, I to this day, I don't know the cause of death, but nevertheless, man, it was a big shock. All of us were genuinely touched by it. And obviously our condolences go to his family, his partner. I know he had a child as well. So yeah, man, very sad news. And then of course, very soon after that, we got the news of Maradona. And boy, man, you know what? I was quite emotional when I got that news, you know, especially off the back of what happened with Heavy D as well. I was like, wow, because you know, I'm of a certain age, as you know, and I grew up idolising Maradona, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I was like, so it kind of took me back. I was able to actually put places, and you know what I mean, and connect, and you know what I mean. I was like, wow, man. And I was remembering, obviously the '86 World Cup, but just in general, man, seeing, you know, watching him play and, you know, trying to replicate his skills and on the street and on the football pitch and stuff. It was just quite, actually brought a little tear to my eye.
Yeah. It affected a lot of people, didn't it? I mean, even my dad, he always said Maradona's the best player he's ever seen. He still says he's better than Messi and all of that. So he was, you know, he was finishing his career when I was kind of watching him, but I watched all the old videos and that, and just a huge personality off and on the pitch as well. So terrible news.
It was. I mean, I always say to people that my two best players of the world would have been between him and Pele. Either of those two. I mean, Messi's a great player, Ronaldo's a great player, but I've always kind of looked at Pele and Maradona as my standouts, best players of all time. And like I said, growing up as a kid, when he was performing all those feats in '86, I was still in my early 20s. So I remember it well. And I remember being blown away by his talent. And then obviously, we knew about his other side as well. So it just made him a very intriguing character. He had that aura around him, you know what I mean? So to learn of his passing, I mean, he's only a couple of years older than me. Yeah. So it did kind of touch me in that way. And so it transpired later with Papa Bouba Diop.
Yeah. That came out of nowhere.
Apparently
he's had an illness for a little while. But
I wasn't aware of that.
Heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
Very good player.
Was,
you
man.
know, saw him bully Arsenal a few times. And I was someone
the wardrobe, man.
I would have liked us to have signed him. When he was at his best, I thought, this guy's an animal.
I can remember me and Robbie having arguments about it. I was like, yeah, we should sign someone like him. And Robbie was saying technically he wasn't quite what we wanted. But I was saying, listen, man, that physical presence in midfield, I mean, he was like the older version of what a Thomas Partey would have been today.
Yeah.
Man, the wardrobe, man. And, you know, it's funny, I'll tell you a quick anecdote about it. He always sticks in my memory, Papa Bouba Diop, because I remember it was the 2002 World Cup. And I think it was the first game of that tournament in Japan, and it was Senegal versus France. And I remember it well because I'd been given the day off work. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop home and I'm just going to watch the football. So you watch all the stuff beforehand, and then I settled in to watch that game, thinking, as most people did, that France were going to put a bit of a whooping on Senegal. And the game was ironic as well because Patrick Vieira was in the French team that day, and obviously he's got Senegal roots, so the game had a lot of significance. And I sat there watching it, and I was watching the game, and the way Senegal started, I thought, you know what, you never know, we could be on for a shock here. And so it transpired, and of course, Papa Bouba Diop scored the only goal, the winning goal in that game, and he always kind of registered in my mind ever since then. And then, of course, later on, he come to play in England, man, and you know what I mean? I used to look at him and marvel at him, I was like, rah. So then to hear that he'd, like you said, he'd had a long illness, which I didn't know about, and to learn that he'd, you know, passed was very sad. So it's been a week of sadness, people, and
Definitely.
yeah, again, condolences to the Maradona family and Papa Diop and all the people who were associated with them. Yeah, man. So, okay then. So moving on then. Moving on again. Where should we start this week? The review of the Mulder game.
Yeah, let's start on a high
Let's
first
start
before it goes downhill.
Rapidly.
Yeah, the Mulder game. I think the two biggest things for this game for me, number one, Pepe.
The redemption of Nicolas Pepe.
Redemption of Pepe. Look,
Free Pepe.
Free him, man. I mean, look, I know Mulder are not world beaters, let's be honest, but you can only play against what's in front of you. He had a lot of criticism after the red card, some of it rightly so, some of it obviously went way too far with the racial abuse he received, which was terrible. But I thought, you know, to turn up, put in a man of the match performance, scored a great goal, nearly scored an even better goal, the one from further out, they hit the bar.
Yeah.
Man of the match, and I thought, you know, this could be the turning point. Maybe this is where he grows up and becomes that player. So I just can't wait for his suspension to be finished.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because on last week's show, we titled the show, basically we were saying, can Pepe come through this? And a lot of people were criticising the title, but it was a realistic question, wasn't it? Because a lot of people were saying that after what had happened in the game where he got sent off, that might be the beginning of the end. So what we tried to do was put that question and make the case for him, his redemption, basically. So we would argue that redemption started in that game. He apologised for what he'd done the week before. He was out of order, but I think the criticism was a bit heavy, to be honest.
Heavy, yeah.
Especially given the manner of the performance. We managed to get a draw, so hey. So it was good to see, listen man, he's apologised now for his misdeeds. He had the game, he performed very well, he scored a goal, he was involved in one of the other goals. Really good performance for him. He won 3-0, so that was a positive. Yeah. And like you said, it starts to go downhill rapidly from there.
Yeah.
Because of course, on the weekend gone, Wolves at home. We went into the game optimistic, although not wildly optimistic. It wasn't overconfident because we know that Wolves are a good team and we know that we have struggled against them in the past. But it has to be said that Wolves weren't blowing up trees, were they?
No.
Prior to the game. So we was cautiously optimistic, I think is the word, that we might get something out of that game. When you saw the team and the lineup, what was your thoughts, Curtis?
Do you know what? I was happy to see Aubameyang through the middle again. I have to admit the midfield worried me a little bit. I know he's short of options. He didn't have many more options really. I don't know. I felt like Bellerin because I felt like they were going to cause problems out wide. I remember Bellerin, Ainsley Maitland-Niles played last season when we beat them at their ground, and he did a really good job against Traoré. So I thought, I was a little worried there. Also, I thought maybe Nelson might have got a start, having played well on the Thursday. And I thought Willian might have played in that 10 role, but he played Willett there and
it didn't work out.
It didn't work, but I thought we had enough to beat them still, you know. And
so analysing the game then, kick off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a shout out to Willian here. I thought he actually started the game well.
He played all right.
I thought that was probably the best I've seen him look since the Fulham game.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I mean, that's not saying a lot about him, is it? But still, it was he set a goal up, he put a few good crosses in.
And he did look confident, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was calling. I noticed that he was calling for the ball, he was trying to make things happen. So yeah, he got off to a decent start. But Gabriel obviously played well.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the head injury?
Yeah, I mean,
that was horrific.
We spoke about this off camera, haven't we? I think Mikel Arteta completely handled that the wrong way. To me, they're talking about protocol and he followed you know, all the protocol and he was allowed to stay on the pitch. Number one, you could see that David Luiz was visibly upset. You know, he's injured a fellow professional in a bad way. You could all see that Jimenez was really hurt. So that's playing on his mind. Number two, he's got a bandage around his head and there's blood coming through it. So he's obviously still bleeding. And you could see, you look at both the goals, he's actually just standing still as if like, I don't know what's going on. So, you know, I think Mikel Arteta took a very big risk for David Luiz's safety and well-being by leaving him on the pitch, and to me he should have been taken off straight away.
Yeah, I thought
straight
so.
away.
I mean, we was at the watch along. Shout out to all the guys who involved in the watch along on Sunday. And as soon as the incident happened, I mean, you could hear it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
That's the number one. You could hear the impact, and it was like, wow, did you hear that? And everyone was like, yeah, man. And you saw Jimenez lying prostrate on the floor. You saw, I think it was Connor Cody run up and he put his hands up above his head.
That's always a bad sign.
And whenever you see that, you always know it's a bad one.
Yeah.
And Jimenez was there lying prostrate, and there was several minutes past, and it was worrying. And I must admit, when I saw David Luiz, he looked shook and he looked groggy.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, he's definitely coming off. And sometimes I think, okay, there's this, I remember myself and my brother having an animated discussion where Robbie was saying that, you know, ARSWOL had followed the protocols. And I said, yeah, but there's protocols and then there's common sense.
Yeah.
You could quite clearly see, as you correctly pointed out, that the whole incident shook David Luiz up. And secondly, I think he was mildly concussed.
Yeah.
Just because he wasn't walking around on rubbery legs. I mean, to be honest, when he got up, he did look a bit unsteady.
Yeah, he did.
But he wasn't, I can see why some people would say he was all right to carry on, because he wasn't stumbling around, if you like. But to me, he should have been taken off. Sometimes you've got to protect a player from themselves. You know what I mean? It's a bit like boxing. Sometimes a guy gets hit and, you know, they stop the fight. The referee's there to protect the fighter because he will carry on all night long if he had the option. It's up to the corner or the referee to say, look, you've had enough. But I would have liked to have seen a common sense approach taken by Mikel Arteta and his team. Yes, they followed certain protocols, but to me it was evident that the guy wasn't right. In fact, there was a few minutes after that incident where the ball was in the air and you could quite clearly see David Luiz, he approached it very gingerly, then he was hesitant.
He didn't want to head it.
He didn't want to head it, and then when he did, it was a very sheepish header. And at that moment, you've got to take the guy off. You know what I mean? He shouldn't have been allowed to play on anyway, but once you've seen that, forget about the protocols.
Get him off the pitch.
You should have been getting him off. So I thought that was managed poorly. And it just seems that nothing Arteta does at the moment is seeming to work. I guess that's what happens. He's looking quite beleaguered at the moment. And that was just another example of something that wasn't quite managed right, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'd agree.
Okay, so we'll continue on with the game then. What was your overall thoughts on the performance?
I thought it was, do you know what? I thought they tried second half. They put crosses in. They tried to make something happen. Number one, you can see it's a team with no confidence. Nobody really, apart from maybe Saka, seems like they're confident, especially in the attack.
Gabriel looks good.
Yeah, Gabriel's been superb. I mean, my worry for him is that I used a reference, we're kind of polluting him with what's around him. You know, sometimes you bring a really good player to Arsenal, but you surround them with rubbish and you start dragging them down a little bit. And I'm worried about that with Gabriel, because to me, he looks like a top quality centre-back.
Might play him up top.
Yeah, well, what is he?
Second top goal scorer.
He might win the Golden Boot, you know. No one else that's like scoring at the moment.
Lacazette's got 3 and Gabriel and Aubameyang have got 2 each.
Two each,
He might be partnering Aubameyang up front.
Playing through the middle, but I just think the performance was, again, Wolves went 2-1 up and they changed formation and just retreated. It was if they said, you won't score past us in the second half, we'll hang on to this 2-1. And that, to me, says a lot about where we are at the moment, that a manager believes for 45 minutes they can just sit there and keep us out. They're not even nervous that we're going to score. So I didn't think it was a great performance, to be honest.
No, I agree. I mean, the one thing I would say is, right, like, listen, we've criticised Arteta on this show in the past where we feel it's been justified. But the one thing I would say is that I don't think you can say that the players are not playing for him. What do you think? I just think that they're so shorn of confidence that we just look a poor team right now. I don't think it's down to lack of effort. I mean, I saw some ridiculous stuff going around about, Aubameyang not looking disinterested and not trying, and now that he signed his new contract, oh, come on, man. Aubameyang is a man that, goals are his lifeblood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The guy is trying, it's just that we're not playing well and the team is totally shorn of confidence.
I think there's two different things. I wouldn't say they're not playing for him in terms of effort. I think they try.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they believe in what's happening though.
Well, that's slightly different.
That's slightly
concept,
different, yeah. I think that, some of these guys must be looking at him thinking, what are we doing right now? We're a team, we're season ticket holders. Every time you go and watch Arsenal, I always think we're going to score. Doesn't matter who we're playing against. We might concede a few, but we're going to score. I mean, if we was going to these games now, you'd be thinking, what am I doing coming to this game? Like, we just don't look like scoring. And I can't understand how Arsenal, with all these attacking players, can't score goals. I know people talk about creativity, but, we didn't struggle last year or the year before. I know people are talking about Mesut Ozil. How big a difference would he have made? Often players, they have their best run of form when they're not in the team.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They're not playing. Suddenly you're the saviour. If he was in the team.
better by not being in the team.
Yeah, so I just think Arteta's making this job harder than what it already was with the way he's managing situations.
Yeah, I think so. I think I agree with that. I mean, it's funny because I was watching that game and I've got to be honest, and I came to the conclusion like halfway through the second half, because at that point we were seeing a lot more of the ball. It was almost as if Wolves were saying, we're happy to concede possession, you try and break us down, and then we're going to try and counter-attack with Traore and the rest of them and score. And I was thinking to myself, this game could literally go on for another couple of hours and we were not going to score.
It looked like that,
didn't you think so?
It?
I mean, Saka had that great chance.
Yeah.
But there were other times when we had so much possession and you're just looking for a spark of invention, someone to beat a player and do, something magic, inspirational. Yeah. And it just wasn't there. And subsequently, Wolves just set themselves up and we couldn't breach them. No. You know what I mean? I mean, we had the odd half chances, but I didn't get that feeling that we were going to score in that game. And it's quite worrying to watch. You know what I mean? I was thinking to myself, wow, we are really bad right now.
Yeah, we are.
And I was looking at Arteta, and for the first time, I actually saw him look a little bit bewildered.
Yeah, I honestly...
Beleaguered and bewildered. He looked like a guy that he's scratching his head.
Yeah, I think he is. I honestly believe that defeat was the beginning of the end. Honestly.
Big words from Mr. Big C.
I don't think he'll be sacked soon, because I don't think this ball...
But later.
But later on, yeah. I just felt like this was the first time, like you said, where I looked at him and I thought, he doesn't look like he's got an idea.
He's looking bereft of ideas, people.
Yeah.
He really is.
He is. And
the other thing I would say as well, and I said this to you when we were speaking about the game afterwards, is that he doesn't appear to have anybody he can go to.
No.
For an idea, or for some choice words or some second opinion that I don't know who the guys he's got around him.
No.
I probably need to research who they are, but there doesn't seem to be much interaction there.
No, you always see him standing by himself. You don't really see the assistant saying.
But there was a couple of times in that game where he actually turned round to the bench, for want of a better word, and it didn't seem to be anything coming.
They're probably going, I don't know what to do, mate.
What are you looking at us for? What are you looking at me for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel, I'm going to say this, right? I actually felt a little bit sorry for him on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because it's beginning to look like this job might be a bit too big for him. And I say that reservedly because I don't want to be coming across as bashing him.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it 100, man.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? I agree in the sense that I've been critical of Arteta. I've got nothing personally against the guy. I think you can see he cares. You can see he wants to succeed. I'm not saying he's not trying his best. He clearly is.
Oh, of course he is.
But I just think he's struggling to find the formula. And I know people will say he needs time and, these aren't all his players and the players aren't good enough. But no Arsenal fan at the moment can watch this team and say, I can see where we're going. You know what I mean? I can't see any shoots of hope at the moment in the structure. Our attack's completely short of ideas. Everyone says we're defending better. We've lost 5 games out of 10 in the Premier League. We've scored less goals than Fulham. The team we hammered first game of the season, who everyone said are going to get relegated. they've scored more goals than us. You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely,
it's
really worrying. And you look at the fixtures that we got coming up, they're not getting any easier. So
14th in the table, people, out of 20 teams. I mean, you know, had this have been Emery last year, he would have gone. I mean, and the record of Emery is actually on a par, if not better than Arteta's, as far as league form is concerned.
I tell you something, Mikel Arteta is very fortunate that we won the FA Cup, because I think that's bought him time. Because as you said, if Emery was in this position now, people would be saying get rid of it.
And I'll tell you one other area where he's very fortunate. The fact that the fans are not back in the stadium.
Oh, can you imagine?
Because I'm telling you now, man, there were times in that game where I was thinking, because it was a home game, and I was thinking to myself, had the fans have been in the stadium and seen that,
they'd be booed.
It would have been toxic.
It would have.
It would have been hostile.
Can you imagine a Sunday night, freezing in you know, end of November? Yeah. You've just lost, put in a timid performance. They would have been annihilating it.
Yeah, I think it could have got ugly real quick. Yeah. So maybe that's a blessing. You know?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So okay, so we lose the game 2-1, and you know, everyone's crestfallen, as was evidenced in the fan cams, AFTV and all those guys. Everyone was pretty downbeat. As well they might be, because at the end of the day, we're looking on the horizon and there's nothing positive. But as I keep saying on the show, people, the one good thing about football is that you soon get an opportunity to turn it around. And so it is this week. Arsenal-Tottenham, North London derby, biggest game of the season. For both teams as well, because, you know,
game,
massive game. And I've looked at this game and I've come up with a title for the show.
Go on.
And I'm calling it Arteta's Last Stand. I really am.
Strong words.
Strong words, man, but I think it's justified. Because I think this game, if we go to Tottenham and get a spanking, I think
the fans are going to turn on it.
They're going to definitely turn. But then what do the board do? They're going to have to make a decision.
I don't think the board are anywhere near making a decision. I don't even think they're considering getting rid of it. Honestly, I don't think they're strong enough. You know.
But do you think that they should be making some?
Honestly, right.
That's big talk, bro.
Me right now, as a fan looking in, and everyone's got different opinions, and everyone's entitled to them. I would be looking at it right now and saying, do you know what? Maybe it's more damaging the longer we keep it. The same way you just said with David Luiz, sometimes you've got to make the decision for him. Arteta's not going to walk. He's on $6 million a year. He's in his first job. Why is he going to walk away? Eventually, you got to say, do you know what? The longer we go on with it, because if we're another month, 6 weeks down the line, all of a sudden top four's disappeared.
I think it's pretty much disappeared already. Man.
Well, this might be the last chance to get it back. But I just think, look.
I think if we're going to qualify for the Champions League this year, it's going to come through the Europa League. And to be fair to Arteta, and I'm going to give him credit here, is forms in the cups have been. I mean, okay, we had the debacle last year against Olympiacos,
but he did well in the FA Cup.
He did well in the FA Cup, and then of course we won the Charity Shield. Some people say it's not a trophy, but I would argue that
you have to win one to get.
You have to win one in order to win it. So it's clear that he's capable in the cup competitions, but his league form. I mean, even last year he finished 8th.
Yeah.
A lot of people, including myself, are a bit disappointed with that, man. But hey. Yeah, so bringing it right round, man. Listen, this game this weekend, it's a massive game. I would argue that this game this weekend is bigger than the cup game, you know.
Yeah.
For him, anyway, it's bigger than the cup game, the finals and stuff like that. He needs to produce in this game.
Yeah, because this one could literally be his job being on the line.
Yeah, 3 successive home defeats.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they'll be happy to be away from home.
Well, yeah, I was going to say
just to be in a different environment. What I would say, there's 2 things I want to look at. Number one, I want to see how Arteta lines up. Is he going to go there and go toe to toe? Does he kind of try and hit? I think, will we see the 3 at the back come back and the old counter attack again? And secondly, these players, because one thing I want to make clear here, these players have to take some responsibility, because I think they're hiding behind the manager at the moment.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they are. I think sometimes as a player...
In what way? Tell us.
Because I look at it and I think, do you know what? This guy's in his first job. They know that as well. You know, they know he's an inexperienced manager. Majority of these players have come out and praised him. Aubameyang spoke about him when he signed a new deal. Ainsley said he convinced him to stay. A lot of them have praised him. If you believe in him that much and you wanted Emery out the door, you've got this manager, he communicates better, he's played for the club. What are you doing at the moment to help him as manager? We lost to Wolves the other day, sorry to go back. Joe Willock comes out to do the interview. Joe Willock, a young lad who hardly plays for the team. Where's Aubameyang?
I'm surprised Bellerin let him go out.
Yeah, do you know? No, but where's your captain? You know, if you've lost a game and everyone's getting flack, I would have liked to have seen Aubameyang come out as the captain and say, do you know what? That ain't good enough. I'm the captain, we're behind the manager, and it's down to us to get him out of it. That's what I would have liked to have seen, leadership from within.
Do you think that the captaincy may have affected Aubameyang's form? Because he's under a bit of extra pressure. He's just signed that new big deal. The season started well for him. He got that great goal, but then since then it's gone pretty downhill.
I think realistically, Aubameyang got the armband because he was the best player. I don't necessarily think he is, you know, real captain material. It's happened over the years at Arsenal. Whoever the best player is, they get the armband. Henry, Van Persie, Fabregas.
But then similarly, you could say the same thing for Spurs, couldn't you? I mean, Harry Kane doesn't strike you as a sort of leadership material. I'm sure he leads by example in the same way that Aubameyang would. But when you're not playing well, then obviously it's magnified. Those lack of so-called leadership qualities can be magnified. I
think the problem is, outside of Aubameyang, who do you look at and think, maybe David Luiz, Tierney maybe, you know?
Well, it'd probably be someone like David Luiz. I'm sure Bellerin will be disappointed because he's constantly pitching for the captain. But anyway, what I was going to say about Aubameyang, it's interesting because you will remember this because we used to talk about it regularly on the show for last season. And it was week after week, we used to say to ourselves, if Aubameyang's not scoring, this is a mid-table team at best.
And we're seeing
and now look, it's being borne out. The evidence of that is being borne out before our very eyes every week. He's not scoring and we look poor. So was Aubameyang scoring last season masking a lot of the deficiencies? I would argue that it was.
Yeah, I agree. And some people are calling for Aubameyang to be dropped and things like that. I'm like, crazy. Who do you think is going to even get close to scoring? The problem is not Aubameyang, it's what's being created for him. I've always said Aubameyang is not an Alexis Sanchez where you can just give him the ball and he'll do something. Aubameyang needs service, right? And we are not creating anything for this guy at the moment. He's stuffed. If he was playing for Man City, Liverpool now, he'd be near the top of the goal scoring charts. There's no doubt about it. He's a great finisher.
It's interesting because I was chatting to my boy Toby. He's a big Tottenham fan. Shout out Toby, by the way. Might have him on the show next week as a post-mortem of the Tottenham game. So me and him have always been going back and forth in a good-natured way about Aubameyang and Harry Kane. So he would frequently say to me, he goes, yeah, listen, man, Aubameyang's a very good player, great player. Harry Kane, great player. But you know the difference between them, Laurie, is when Harry Kane's not scoring, he does more for the team, more off the ball. And I say, well, they're playing slightly different roles. And it's interesting because I watched the Tottenham-Chelsea game at the weekend and Harry Kane didn't score, because obviously Spurs didn't score, but it was interesting. He didn't see much of the ball. No. He was totally ineffective. And I said to Toby, I rang up, I said, listen, you're always laying that at my door about when Aubameyang doesn't score, doesn't do much for the team. Harry Kane played at the weekend, and don't forget he's on a very good run of form at the moment. But he didn't see the ball, so he wasn't effective. It's the same thing with any striker. Aubameyang's no different. If you're not giving him the service, he can't really impact the game. No. I saw Aubameyang on Sunday against Wolves. He was having to track back 20, 30 yards just to get some action. He was actually going looking for work. He couldn't get the ball. We're not providing him with any service. And then obviously when he does get a chance, so for example the header, if he doesn't put that in, that missed chance is magnified because you look at it and say, well, yeah, he had that chance there. There was a time when he chased down the goalkeeper, remember? With the press, and he nearly got through there. But that was all his own work. We're not providing him with the bullets for him to go and score the goals, man. We're just not, and it's worrying. And
like you said, who's backing him up, you know? He needs Willian.
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Gabriel's going to win the Golden Boot at Arsenal, man. Jeez.
So let's talk a little bit about this game then, man. So Tottenham, currently top of the table. Yeah. They got 21 points. They've played 10 games, won 6, drawn 3. They've only lost the 1. And they're looking good right now, man, I have to say. I mean, they don't look exciting as such.
No, they're efficient.
Yeah, efficient, competent, dare I say, well managed and well prepared.
No,
well structured.
We won't talk about the manager too much, because
a lot of the things that we're not right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, do you think we can get anything out of this game?
I think we can, but it just. I look in, I think if they don't turn up and they're not up for this game, then there's something seriously wrong. Like we said before, and Ty said, and that I think form goes out the window in such a big derby game, because it's a separate occasion almost by itself. They'll have 2,000 fans there, which will help them. But you know, we went there last season. We could have got something out of that if we didn't make that stupid mistake. You know, Lacazette scored that great goal. Look, I would say, even though they're top of the league, we've got to pull away that sort of fear factor and go there, and because they're going to be very confident, and sometimes that's dangerous for them. They could get too confident. Everyone expects us to lose, so we've got to kind of use that to our advantage. That look, this can be the turning point in our season. If Mikel Arteta wins this game, or even gets a draw and we play really well, we can say, right, we've got something to build on now. We've shown in the past. One thing Arteta has done very well, he's beaten a lot of the big teams. You know, he's got that record of winning away from home.
Well, he did it with Man United, didn't he?
Yeah, he beat Man United.
That was probably our best performance of the season, in hindsight.
Yeah, so I think we're capable of going there and getting something, but they have to improve on what we've seen in the past few weeks.
Mind you, we got some bad news this week. Partey looks like he's going to be out for this game. And
he's out for 4 weeks,
4 weeks, yeah. It's ironic, isn't it? Like, the guy was known for his physicality and his robustness. And the fact that he never got injured, he rocks up at Arsenal within a couple of weeks, man. He's got a thigh injury and he's out for 6 weeks.
It's typical,
could only happen to us, innit?
We're just that team, aren't we? You know, you can never be injured. You join Arsenal and pull a muscle.
And at this time as well, when we most need him.
Desperately need him.
But yeah, you know what? I'm going to go along with what you say there. And indeed, shout out to Ty. He said it on the watch along. He goes, listen, when you get to derby games, especially a big derby like this, arguably the biggest one in the country, is that form can often go out the window. So if I was Arteta, which I'm not, my approach would be to the team, listen, all what's gone on before, forget about that. We go into this game with tunnel vision, we're starting again, This is a massive challenge, because if we can go to Tottenham and get a result, get a win, or even a draw, it might set us up for the rest of the season. This might be the catalyst for good things going forward. So I would be kind of erring down that route and saying to the team, listen, man, let's not worry about too much what's gone in the past. Yes, we haven't played well, but this game this week gives us the opportunity to turn, not only just get a decent result, get our form back on track, but also it can revitalise the rest of the season. We can take confidence from that. So let's go in, put in a shift, do our due diligence, work hard, and let the result take care of itself.
That's it. They have to. You know,
and I think Arteta is capable of getting it out of them for this game. What do you think?
He's got to. He actually has to. I mean, listen, if you've had a bad run of form, which we've had, and then you come into North London derby and you get beat, and you put that on top of the form from before, the pressure on that guy is going to be through the roof. He has to get something out of this game, in my opinion, even if it's a draw. That would be seen as a positive under these circumstances. So I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
You know what? I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that. 1-1, man.
We'll take a point and get out of there, man.
I mean, I'm not going to predict a win.
No.
Because our form is so poor at the moment. And we're taking on, let's be honest, we're taking on the table toppers, for want of a better word, at the moment, in a massive game. So for me to go out and predict that we're going to win, I think would be a little bit facetious. However, I do envisage us going there, and let's face it, we can go there, and this is a point that we've spoken about previously, is that the way we're likely to set up against Spurs will be similar to the way we set up against Man United, where we will push the ball back in Tottenham's court and say, listen, you have to break us down. And it's been shown that Tottenham prefer when teams are attacking them. So
Yeah.
they're like the counter-attacking style. We'll be basically setting up and say, well, actually, you're the ones got to come and break us down.
Yeah.
So it will be similar to the Man United performance.
Yeah.
And let's hope it's a similar outcome.
Similar result. Do you know what I think's key in this game?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I think we've got to score first.
Good point.
I think if we go 1-0 down, you know, confidence,
especially if we go 1-0 down,
we need to score first. Like, we need to get that confidence boost. Like last year when Lacazette scored.
Yeah.
Although we messed that up, but we should have got something out of that game.
You know what? I could almost see a scenario where we do score first, and we're all cock-a-hoot, and we're thinking, yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the continual pressure of Spurs is going to wear us down, and then we concede late, and then we get a creditable 1-1 draw. But then the week after, we're saying, well, actually, you could have gone there and won.
You know, I want to ask you something. Would you continue with Aubameyang through the middle?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely would. Yeah.
It needs time, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
You know?
Yeah. Listen, man, Aubameyang is a quality player, but like all players, confidence is key, and I think we're seeing a guy at the moment that is. I think it was you who was saying that he's lost his smile.
Yeah, he has. Doesn't look like he's enjoying it.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's enjoying it. But I'd stop short of some of the other criticisms where they're saying he looks disinterested. To me, it's not. He's not disinterested. He's trying hard, but he's frustrated, and he's not seeing the ball.
Yeah.
So we have to find a way of supplying him with the ammunition he needs to score the goals.
Yeah.
So far, we haven't done that. He's had the odd chance here and there. In each game, he's had like one couple of chances, and just the way he's executed those chances have told me that that's a player not on form. But that's not to say he can't get it back.
Yeah, of course not.
You know what they say, form is temporary, class is permanent. Yeah. He will score, he just needs the opportunities.
He will.
It's up to us to provide him with those. So, yeah, I think, listen, man, if we go there with a good shape, select the right team for the right day, keep our discipline, no silly mistakes, especially early on, we can nick a goal.
Yeah.
And if we can nick, like you said, if we can nick that goal first, stand us in good stead, then even if we do concede, which, you know, Tottenham, they do have a very impressive front line with Kane, Son and people like that, and they are playing well, they're full of confidence, so I do expect Spurs to score at some point. But I think we can get a draw, man.
And also Tottenham, Alderweireld's out, so they got that young lad playing centre-back, and you saw that little mistake he made at the end where Giroud should have lobbed him, so we've got to put pressure on him, man.
Well, this goes back to what we said, we will get a chance or two in the game. It's whether we can take it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it,
So, yeah, we got to make sure that we take our chance and not rely solely on Aubameyang.
No, someone else has got to do something.
One of the things that's really disappointed me in watching Arsenal this season is the lack of shots that we're taking. I mean, supposedly people like Granit Xhaka are supposed to be an excellent dead ball exponent, and I haven't seen him even attempt to have any shots from goal. You know what I mean? Willian as well. He used to like...
He used to shoot from long range.
Yeah, he did. He used to shoot from range at Chelsea, take on players, you know, put it in the top bins. Not seen any of that.
No.
Ceballos, we know, can score a goal. He's not had any.
Yeah.
So we're relying exclusively on one man, and that doesn't work at this level.
No.
Other guys have got to be chipping in. And this is something, again, that we said last season. It was worrying to us last season. It's been borne out this season. We were saying, if Aubameyang doesn't score, where are the goals coming from?
Yeah.
What would you like to see happen with Lacazette this week? Has he got to come back in? Does he play? And if so, where?
No, because I think if Aubameyang's through the middle, then Lacazette, I think he'll be on the bench. But then I think Arteta may bring him back in, though, just because of the hold-up play and the fact he scored last season against them. Will he stick with Aubameyang through the middle? I don't know. I suppose you got Saka, Willian, Aubameyang front three probably again, I would imagine. You know, but I know a lot of people were calling for Nelson because Willian got that assist. I think he'll probably keep him in the team. Obviously, we've got no Pepe. The midfield's the issue for me.
Would you like to see Balogun come in for Eddie? Or some people are saying they'd like to see that.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I was disappointed that Balogun wasn't on the bench. He comes in the Europa League, scores, looks shot.
With his first touch.
To me, we've seen what Eddie's capable of now. We know where his ceiling is right now. All right, you know, you can nick a goal every now and then. Balogun, to me, looks like his ceiling could be higher than Eddie's, and I think we've got to give him a go.
He's very highly thought of within the club, apparently. I've done some research and a lot of people talking him up, and indeed he was expressing an interest to leave because he felt he wasn't getting opportunities, but they were determined to hold on to him. It's a bit like Ainsley, you know. I mean, if you're that determined to hold on to a guy that's wanted by other clubs, why not give him an opportunity?
Chance,
you know what I
mean?
And where I would agree with you as well with Eddie is that with Eddie, and I've watched quite a bit of him, Eddie is what we call a goal poacher, isn't he? So he's likely to only get you a certain type of goal.
A tapping.
No, listen, man.
No, I'm joking,
we're just speaking our truth. We're keeping it 100.
Yeah.
You're not going to see Eddie beat couple man and curl it into the top bins, or, you know, go on a long mazy run and one-on-one lob the keeper. I don't see that in him.
No.
What I have seen with him is plenty of effort.
Yeah, his work rate.
His work rate is good. He's a good team player. He tries hard, but the goals he tends to score are like poacher's goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's very limited in that sense. Whereas with Balogun, the clips I've seen of his goals for the youth teams and that, and even the goal he took the other day where he turned swivel.
Great turn, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't come instinctively to Eddie, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So for him to do that in his first appearance at senior level for Arsenal and score his first, that was quite impressive actually. And you never know, sometimes when you're struggling, you give an opportunity to a young player.
That's how they
take
blow
it. Exactly.
That's how they imagine him coming on against
Can you imagine
Tottenham and scoring the win.
Can you imagine that? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's come on late. It's the 80th minute, the ball comes over the top and he's there and he puts it in and everyone's jumping and saying he's a new hero.
Yeah.
Bit like what Adebayor did many years ago. Remember when we had that game against Man United? Adebayor made his name in that game when the 1-0 victory away to Man United. I was at that game and the legend was born. So, yeah. But hey, it could be seen that we're hoping against hope. But yeah, so to bring it round then, you're predicting?
I'm going 1-1. I think they'll pull something out of the bag, some sort of performance, and they need to.
And I'm going 1-1, and I'm hoping that will be, if we get the draw, if we get some type of positive result. I mean, we're predicting a draw. We might even get the win, who knows, let's hope so. But we're hoping that if we get a result at Tottenham, that might be the springboard, that might be the catalyst that will see things turn around a little bit and we start to climb the table and the positive vibes come back. Yeah. And then, you know, hopefully things
onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. You know, and then you never know, we'll be hailing Arteta as the next big thing. But whether it will happen or not, we don't know. But we're trying to be optimistic. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the show now, people. Enough respect to my man Curtis, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. Tell the people what you've been up to in the coming days.
Check out the channel, Curtis Shaw TV, on the road to 20k. Big up everyone for supporting. So
I've been watching some of your content, bro. It's been proper this week.
Yeah, it's been a bit harsh. It's been a bit harsh this week.
Yeah. No, but you know what? Listen, man. I think the one thing that people appreciate about your content is that you're not hyping up no one. No. You're speaking your truths, and your analysis is good. You've got very good insights into the game, having played at a high level, and you basically chat it as you see it. And I think people respect and like that. You know, certainly that's what I think when I watch your stuff. So yeah, man, keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks everybody out there for tuning in today. Keep your comments coming. We like to keep the show as interactive as we possibly can. Please engage with the Flick app, download that, and you can express your views and your sentiments, not just on this show, but on all the topics concerning Arsenal and indeed all the other content on AFTV. Shout out to everybody out there. Keep tuning in and we see you next week. Respect.
It's Robbie here from AFTV. Don't forget to check out AFTV on Flick for all the latest transfer rumours, for all the information on Arsenal, for all the information on AFTV. You can check me there for Q&As on a regular basis. The link is in the description. It is free to download. Download it right now.